From the weight room at the Bill Fralick Athletic Center at Penn Hills High School, this is the Coach's Corner, along with our Penn Hills High School Coaches of the Week, Bob Gold, Craig Williams, and Joe Golden. I'm Bill Navari. Bob, let's start with you. This week, the Indians take on the Woodland Hills Wolverines for a chance to be runner-up in the conference, get a home playoff game. What do you tell the kids as far as the how big this game is heading into the playoffs, using your experience from being a player back in the 70s?
Well, we talk about tradition. We talk about pride, bringing the Big Red Pride back to where it was at one time, dominant in the WPIAL. So I think the kids have worked real well this week, and real excited about our opportunity to be successful.
A lot of the kids might hear of the glory days of back in the 70s when the Indians won 4 championships in a row. You were part of a couple of those teams.
Yes.
What experiences do you tell these kids about what it was like back then and the similarities and differences of today's football?
Well, obviously they're a lot bigger, stronger, faster than we were, but the one thing that we did do is we believed in playing together as a team, 11 guys out there making it happen, everybody doing his job, and that's how we were successful.
You're the running back coach. The Indians last week had a big week running the football. Terrell Roberson, I think, had over maybe close to or over 200 yards rushing. The team's starting to seems like the offense is gelling. They've struggled early, but now that you've gotten some of the horses back, the running game is on. Is that a very important factor going into Woodland Hills? Oh,
absolutely. We have to be able to run the football. We've got to win the battle in the trenches. I tell our running backs to run downhill, north-south, make your cut and go. You don't get anywhere going east-west. North-south is where we want our runners to go and get across that goal line. So, yeah, I think this week we're gonna do that.
Anything you've seen in the tapes of Woodland Hills defense that you think the Indians offense can exploit Friday night?
Yeah, they're very aggressive coming off the edge. They like to bring their backers through the A-gaps. We've put, I think, a good game plan together with Coach Russell and Coach Graham, and I believe that we can exploit we believe their weaknesses by doing that. If they're going to bring it, we're going to bring it. We're going to win it in the trenches.
Well, let's hope so. Good luck to you. Woodland Hills graduate from 1990, Craig Williams. You've been in a lot of these big games with Penn Hills and Woodland Hills on a different side of the ball now. What do you talk about with these kids as far as the tradition between Penn Hills and Woodland Hills?
As far as the tradition for me, I mean, I'm on the opposite side. It would be different if I was at Woodland Hills, but as far as being in Penn Hills playing against my alma mater, my saying to at least my defensive backs is basically go hard or go home. You play sound, disciplined football. Do what the coaches teach you, and we shouldn't have a problem.
One of the things I've discussed every year at this time of year when it comes up to Penn Hills, Woodland Hills, many years I've discussed with Neil and now with Ron, is the fact that the rivalry between Penn Hills and Woodland Hills is not the kind of rivalry where you dislike your opponent, where you just want to beat them because you don't like them. The Penn Hills, Woodland Hills, I think, is a mutual respect where you want to go out, you want to play well against each other. Then after the game, everybody goes and has a soda or whatever, and you guys are all friends. But it's not that I want to beat Woodland Hills because I don't like them. It's because I respect them as a team, and I know if I beat them, I've beaten a good football team. Is that same attitude of Woodland Hills?
It's exactly the same. Even when I played for Woodland Hills, when we played Penn Hills, it was never a hate relationship. You just knew if we beat Penn Hills, there was going to be a respect thing, kind of like, when Cincinnati comes down to play Pittsburgh, they know there might be a lot of animosity, but if whatever team wins, it's going to be a respect thing. And as we get on that bus, we just know we were in a dogfight.
Usually each year, many times over the years, this week has been to decide the conference. This year it's to decide the runner-up. Does that lessen the magnitude of this game at all, or is it still Penn Hills, Woodland Hills? Oh
no, it definitely doesn't lessen the magnitude. It's still Penn Hills, Woodland Hills. It's the best of the best. If you lose, hey, you're traveling on your first playoff game. So it's almost a must win, as if we were going for the conference, because we want to be at home for our first playoff game.
You coach the defensive backs. What have you seen that your kids are going to need to be prepared for against Woodland Hills offense Friday night?
They're going to have to be disciplined. They cannot get caught out of position because Woodland Hills has a lot of speed. They have a quarterback that can throw the ball, that can get it down the field. So if they don't play sound, disciplined football and practice the techniques, use those techniques out on the field that they've been taught, it's going to be a long game for them.
Well, let's hope they are. Good luck to you.
I believe
Friday
they will
night.
be.
Let's pass the microphone to the little guy down on the end. We've hit the 70s, we've hit the 90s, and down on the end we're going to go into the 80s. Joe Golden, 1984 graduate of Penn Hills High School. Woodland Hills wasn't around back in our day.
That's right. Sure
but
was.
our big rivalry then was Gateway. Do you see any similarities to back in your day, whenever the big game, last game of the year was Gateway, as to now with it being Woodland Hills?
Right. The similarity to me is it's still the same. It was a physical, fast game. And, I can remember playing against Nate Gay when he played for the Gateway Gators. And we played here, and it was, what was it? It was supposed to be whoever wins, go to the playoffs. And we ended up losing, and they went to the playoffs, and we packed it up and went home.
Of course, the big difference back then to now is that in the conference only 2 teams went.
That's right.
Now 4 teams went. So, if you made the playoffs back then, this was probably before, I think about mid-90s they expanded it. Before then, it was 2 teams. You made the playoffs. You were one of the top 8 teams. I mean, you deserve to be there.
That's right.
Now, this year, you're coaching the defensive line.
Yes.
Looking at Woodland Hills, I think really 2 main words to say what you have to be prepared for Friday night: Lafayette Pitts.
Lafayette Pitts is a very good athlete, and our main goal for defense is we must keep contained. Lafayette's the type of running back that will hit the hole and then cut back. So we want to make sure we stay on our lanes and make sure we put a hat on them, everybody to the ball.
All season long, the defense has been playing very well, especially with you and Craig. Really has to be a source of pride for you guys. What are you telling them going into this game against Woodland Hills as what is going to help them in the next few weeks ahead as far as the playoffs are concerned?
Well, you just want to be consistent, and we always preach, be consistent. We want to make sure we do our fundamentals and just be consistent straight across the board. And defense wins championships.
No, I'm going to ask each of you, we're going to pass the mic back down this way as our final question. Joe, we'll start with you. Looking back at your high school days, is there one game in particular that you remember the most, and why?
The game that I remember the most is probably when we played Central Catholic down at South Stadium, and we came out in gold pants and white jerseys with the gold trimming on it. And when we came out of the tunnel, they were throwing tennis balls and eggs at us. And it was a serious rival because of the kids the young men that I played with in midget football all the way up to high school played for Central. So it was a nice rival, and we ended up being 14-14. We came back from, going into the fourth quarter, it was 14-0, and we tied the game up, and it ended up being 14-14.
That was fabulous. They're still bitter about Marino losing his last game to Penn Hills. Craig, what about you looking back? What's any game in particular you remember the most?
In fact, there is. My most memorable game was playing Penn Hills at Woodland Hills. It was a muddy game.
Oh, I was going to say it has to be the mud game.
It was a muddy game. Saturday afternoon. Back then Woodland Hills didn't have lights. Saturday,
and they didn't have turf either.
No, they did not. Saturday afternoon, muddy game. Tough game all the way down to about the last 13 seconds of the game. We kick a 35-yard field goal with 8 seconds left on the clock.
I called this game. I was on radio.
Instead of squib kicking it, for some reason, we decided to kick it deep. I can't even remember the guy's name that ran it back on us, but I think
it was Mark Murphy.
It was Jackson. I want to say last name was
Larry Jackson.
Larry
I think
Jackson.
it was Larry Jackson.
How can you forget that?
Because you tried to forget. You tried to forget. I can remember. It was 8 seconds left. Penn Hills ran the ball back on us and won the game 6-3. That's a game that I'll never forget.
That's actually one of the most memorable games. One of the games I remember the most as far as broadcasting games. Really,
it was exciting.
It was, and Penn Hills won. That's right.
Also depressing to lose, but
Bob, What about you looking back to your days here at Penn Hills?
Well, I'll tell you what, I stand here at the Frederick Center and I look over at that wall to 1976. That was the first championship that Penn Hills ever had. So I have to say that at Pitt Stadium, we played Butler for the championship, and that's when the tradition was set. We won our first championship, and I just that day is like it was like yesterday. A lot of excitement and a lot of good feeling about that, and that's why I was excited about coming back to Penn Hills and try to bring some of that tradition back and that pride, that Big Red pride.
I was at that game as well. But I was only like in 6th grade. I don't want to make you feel your age. Well, thank you guys for coming out and talking with us. Good luck Friday night. Good luck through the playoffs. Hopefully we get to see you guys for another month or so to come here, because the more I get to see you guys, the longer the Indians are going in the playoffs.
That's right. Excited.
Our coaches of the week, Bob Gold, Craig Williams, and Joe Golden of the 2010 Penn Hills Indians. Coming up next, our seniors of the week as the Coach's Corner continues. Our seniors of the week, Sean Sharkey, Mike Airgood, and Javon Kirkland of the 2010 Penn Hills Indians. Sean, let's start with you. I have to say, amongst all the Indians, you're really having one of the better seasons, I think. I mean, it's no disrespect to any other Indian because everyone else is doing well, but really watching the defense playing, you're really involved in a lot of the plays, and you really are having a heck of a season. Do you kind of feel that way on the field? Are you doing well, or is it just you're just going out and doing your thing?
I just usually just go out and do my thing. Like, I don't feel like an individual out there, you know. Just if I make the play, then I make the play. That's just how it is, how I feel about it, you know.
What's interesting, though, is you play linebacker, and you're everywhere on the field, yet you don't look like you're built like a linebacker. You're built almost like a defensive back. Anybody, do you get that all the time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I play safety first, but then like they just, I guess because I can hit, they move me a linebacker, and I just my speed, so just go to the ball.
Do you like playing linebacker?
Yes, I'd rather play safety, but you know I gotta do what I got to do for my team, so you know.
Well, it's a great attitude to have, obviously. You put the team first. I mean, what is it about you'd rather play safety than playing linebacker?
I just feel like I'm better at that position. You know, like that's what I went to a lot of camps and just practiced that position a lot. And then, like when I came to practice, like during camp, that transition was a little difficult, but I'm getting the hang of it. So, just feel like I'm better at safety, but I'm a linebacker. So.
Well, the one thing is you do like to hit. Woodland Hills this week. Nothing better than hitting Woodland Hills Wolverines, except for maybe Central Catholic Vikings, Ball Mustangs, Gateway Gators. I don't know. But you have an opportunity this week to have a home playoff game. You win this week. We'll be back here again next week. Believe me, playing at home is better than playing on the road. So you guys have a great opportunity. But what's the defense going to need to do Friday night to have that opportunity to play at home?
We just got to focus on our keys and on our assignment, basically. You know, just everybody, like nobody could do their own thing out there. We got to do our job, and then we should be good.
What is the thing that you're going to have to key on Friday night?
My key is basically, like, if I blitz off the outside, just stay flat. Like, if I go outside, like too far outside, that could mess the whole defense up. So stuff like that, just keeping it tight and keeping everything, like, crisp is what's going to keep us together.
No, we're going to be moving down the line here to two defensive linemen. Mm-hmm. You as a linebacker backing those guys up. Any tips you'd like to pass on to them guys for Friday nights and, you know, to make your job a little easier?
Just take on a couple blocks for me, you know, just make sure they don't hit me, you know.
Well, good luck Friday night, and then we'll talk after the game and see if these guys did their job. Mike Airgood, the middle of that defensive line. Your key Friday night is obviously to get the penetration, try to break up the run. They have a heck of a runner in Lafayette Pitts. Really, what are you trying to do? You trying to get in the backfoot, or are you just trying to jam the holes?
I'm really just trying to jam the holes, do what I got to do, play my position, don't get too far upfield, and if I get my shot, I want to lay the wood on them. Yeah.
We mentioned the defensive line, but you also play on the offensive line. You get to hit a little bit more on defensive line because you get to bring guys down. On the offense, the rules are a little bit different. In fact, they're a lot different. How was the transition going out from one series on offense and then the next series just being out there on defense?
Oh, well, there's a big difference. Like you said, there's a lot of things you can't do on offense that you can't do on defense. But there's a lot of like things. I get a free play to where I go and I can hit the linebacker. I take my best hit on him like I'm hitting a running back. So there's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things, but I focus more on what my coaches tell me to do and how I play the game.
The hit, though, is a little bit different than on a linebacker than on a running back. What are the keys to success for the Indians Friday night against Woodland Hills?
Well, like Sean said, we just got to play our own keys. We got to play our positions, can't over pursue, and we got to lock down our defense, and we'll be all right.
Well, best of luck to you Friday night, and hopefully we get to see you for a few more weeks because that means we're going longer in the season. Javon Kirkland, you got your own microphone down there. I don't have to reach across these two wide bodies down there. Defensive end, what is your job Friday night against Woodland Hills?
My job is to make sure that all my linebackers have free shots on their running backs.
Do you ever get the free shots on the running backs, or you just say, they have all the fun?
I have my fun, but I'd rather have my linebackers clean up and get free open shots.
So as a defensive end position, you have to play your lanes and just try to keep everything inside. Is that your main focus?
Well, one of my main focuses is to make the running back cut back into the heart of our defense where we can just clean up and we can all game tackle.
So you're sending them back to these two guys here to make the play. You're setting them up. They're getting the glory. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, mostly that's what's going on. I don't have no problem with it.
You're also one of the two-way players. You play on offense. Now you have a bit more of a transition going from, you play end, you play tackle, and then you go on to defensive end as well. I mean, how big is the transition between the offensive and defense for you?
Well, for me, I just try to keep the same aggression and play as hard as I can. And with me playing as hard as I can, I think we can do good on both sides of the ball.
No, is the defensive aggression and the offensive aggression the same thing, or is there have to be a difference between the two?
Well, for defense, like Mike said, there's a lot of different rules. For defense, you can do a lot of different things. So I think maybe the defense aggression is more
physical, maybe more,
more carefree. You have more space to do
more
what you
intense,
want.
perhaps. Yeah. What are your plans for after graduation?
After graduation, I'd like to go to Cal U and play basketball while also majoring in athletic training.
So after this, you're going to be done with football? You don't consider playing football anymore?
I've looked at it, but it's not what I really want to do.
Coach Askerdes can't convince you to play football at Cal U?
Well, maybe.
Although he's a Clarion guy, but...
If it comes down to it and I start liking football again, I will.
Okay, well, good luck to you, and best of luck Friday night and what you do after graduation as well. Mike Airgood, what are your plans for after graduation?
Well, I'd like to go to college and play ball if I got the chance. I got a couple of looks from a couple of different schools, but I'd like to go play ball for either Division II and hopefully a Division I school, but I want to major in sports management, keep my field with the sports. If I can't play ball, then I want to keep something like it.
This is kind of a historic day for Penn Hills football and for the coach's corner because the Airgoods have gone through here one by one, and you are the final one, although we have nephews coming up, but you are the final Airgood. Who was the toughest Airgood?
I can't say.
Come on, your family, who is the toughest Airgood?
My brother, they were both real tough, but if it came down to it, I'm pretty sure I could take one. I could take both of them. So that's all I can really say.
Wrong. It's Heather.
My sister is really tough. I can't argue with you.
Well, it was a pleasure watching you and your brothers play. Sean, it's going to be tough watching you go as well, but what are your plans for after graduation?
My plan is basically just, play ball at college. I got a couple looks also from a couple D1 and D2 schools, so I'm going to see how that works out. Maybe I get an opportunity. And I think I'm gonna study like sports medicine or something, like maybe like athletic training or stuff like that, just so I can stay around sports, just in case football doesn't work out for me. That's basically it.
Well, little birdie told me that some people are looking at you. So obviously, right now you don't want to start dropping names. You just keep to yourself, but go out and play. But I mean, looking at playing college football, I mean that is something that you are definitely interested in.
Yes, sir. I'm definitely interested in that. That's my thing, football is my thing, so just might as well keep going.
Just remember, someone's going to give you a free education to play football or something. Go play football or basketball, whatever you guys are going to do, and get that opportunity to get that education. But fantastic. Thank you guys for coming in and talking to us. Best of luck Friday night and for the weeks to come, and not only for what you do the rest of your senior season, but also after graduation and what you guys do beyond Penn Hills football. Our seniors of the week, Sean Sharkey, Mike Airgood, and Javon Kirkland of the 2010 Penn Hills Indians. Here it comes, the final regular season game of the year. It's Penn Hills, Woodland Hills. It's for the runner-up spot in the Quad East Conference, and it's coming your way next here on Comcast. corner. Captains have taken the field tonight. The captains for the Woodland Hills Wolverines are number 5 is Juan Price, number 6 Devin White, 45 is Jonathan Johnson, and number 50 is Julian Turner. Captains for the Penn Hills Indians, number 10 Philip Morford, 27 Sean Sharkey, number 5 is Terrell Roberson, and number 58 Mike Airgood. Both teams come into the contest tonight with overall records of 5-3. The Indians with victories over Gateway, Plum, Altoona, Fox Chapel, and Kiski area, with losses to St. Edward, Mount Lebanon, and Central Catholic. The Woodland Hills Wolverines, 4 straight victories of their 5. They beat Plum, and then Altoona, Fox Chapel, Kiski, Pine, Richland. And now this graph tonight at Penn Hills. Losses to Manatee, Florida, North Hills, and Central Catholic. Each team 4-1 in the Quad East Conference. What does tonight mean? Just the difference between who's finishing 2nd and 3rd in the conference. The team that finishes 2nd ordinarily will get a home playoff game. 3rd place teams invariably are always on the road in the first week of the WPIAL playoffs. Indians are going to get the ball first tonight. They're in the red jerseys, white pants, gold helmets. The Woodland Hills Wolverines in the teal helmets, the white jerseys with the teal numbers, and the black pants. The Indians head coach Ron Graham and the Woodland Hills Wolverines led by George Novak, the only head football coach in history of Woodland Hills High School. George Novak, and I could argue that they don't come much better. They don't come much better than George Novak. Back for the Indians, number 1 Ante James, and on the near side, number 9 Corey Jones. Kicking off for the Woodland Hills Wolverines, number 91 Sam Scheifel. Gets the word. We are underway in Penn Hills. A kickoff taken by Corey Jones at the 4-yard line. Has some blockers in front, looking for somewhere to go. Nice job on the Wolverines to bring them down at the 22-yard line, and the Indian offense will start from there. The Indian offense led by senior quarterback Phil Morford. In the backfield, Terrell Roberson, who had a huge night last week at Kiski. And joined by Tori Kester. And that backfield.
22-yard line.
Whitaker and Jones are your wideouts. Jones and Chaz will both split up. Chaz comes back this way. Tori Kester will be in the slot to the right. Single setback is Roberson. It's Morford under center. Kester comes in motion near side, and before we get started, the penalty flag. And the Indians move.
Flag on the field. Illegal procedure against Penn Hills.
So before we get a snap off, the Indians are looking at a 1st and 15. Ball marked back to their own 17-yard line. Twins right, single receiver to the near side. Tori Kester, the lone setback. In motion is Corey Jones. And it'll be Jones looking to get to the outside. The Woodland Hills Wolverines are there. And Jones will have nowhere. Coming up to stuff the play, Mike Caprera.
Corey Jones on the carry. Brought down by number 30, Mike Caprera.
And Jones will lose 3. So the Indians going the wrong way. It'll be 2nd down 18. About the 13-yard line. Just closer to 2nd and 19. Jones will lose 4. Roberson is the decoy as it's Hester. Gets out to the 14-yard line for a gain of 1. And the Indians will be looking at a 3rd and 18.
Number 34, 3 Kessler on the carry. Brought down by number 52, Justin Littlejohn.
2 rushes for -3 yards for the Indians early on. The Woodland Hills defense getting the better of the Indians' offensive line. Norfolk rolling to his right, swing pass underneath, hits Jones across the 20. Rolled down from behind after he gets up to the 24-yard line. Called a pickup of 11. But well short of the first down, and the Indians will have to punt. Clock running, approaching 10 minutes to go here in the opening period. Still scoreless. Penn Hills, Woodland Hills, the Wolverines about to get their hands on the football for the first time tonight. And the WPIAL playoffs begin next Friday night. Tonight's game will determine where each of these guys go, whether it's home or on the road. Winner tonight will probably have a home game next week, and the loser will probably be on the road. Sites and times to be determined. Lafayette Pitts back for the Wolverines. I think
Norfolk's punt goes out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Woodland Hills will take over.
Stopping the clock, but the Woodland Hills Wolverines will take over at the Penn Hills 45-yard line. Great field position for the Wolverines on their opening drive. That's Penn Hills 45. Now the Indian defense need to take charge. Patrick Menifee, the quarterback for the Wolverines. And it'll be Pitts looking for somewhere to go. Jaquan Williams, first one to get a hold of Pitts after a pickup of 3.
Lafayette Pitts on the carry. Brought down by number 3, Jaquan Williams.
In motion, men coming to the near side. Wolverines keep it on the ground down to about the 40-yard line. Goes Alfonso Strozier.
Number 21, Alfonso Strozier on the carry.
Short gain, we'll call it 2.
Brought down by number 22, Lamont Kaiser.
It's Lamont Kaiser with the tackle for the Indians. It's now 3rd and 5, Wolverines. The clock rolls under 8.5 minutes to go here in the scoreless opening period. Woodland Hills loses the football on the snap, and the Indians fall on it appears. It looks like it's Blakeman who dove on the football. And it is Indians football, and it is in fact Malik Blakeman.
Menifee fumble, recovered by Penn Hills number 8, Malik Blakeman. That play results in a Penn Hills.
So the Indians will have a first down in their best field position of the night at their own 39-yard line. Trip to the right, single receiver near side. It'll be Jones in motion this way, and it'll be Roberson looking for somewhere to go. And the only place he has is into the arms of Alex Beasley, who will drop him for a loss of about 2.
Roberson on the carry. Brought down by number 39, Alex.
And that'll give the Indians a second down and 12. Again, early on here, the Woodland Hills defensive line getting the better of the Penn Hills offensive line. Roberson goes in motion. It'll be Roberson looking for somewhere to go. Has a lane. Roberson with a big hole. Stumbles. One man to beat and is brought down at about the 28-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle by Ronald Tyler.
But Roberson down to the 27.
That play results in a Penn Hills
36 yards and a first down for the Indians. Roberson had a big hole on that right side. $37 yards for Roberson and an Indian first down. Roberson with the cutback. Looks to get to the outside. A penalty flag comes in, and he'll be dropped back at about the 30-yard line by Tyler.
number 3, Ronald Tyler. Flag on the play.
Just for the record, I had 37. Holding call against the Indians.
Against Penn Hills.
Marked back to the 42-yard line. In essence, a 16-yard penalty.
Repeat first down.
But it's still first down for the Indians. Holding call came 6 yards deep. And they mark it from there. Heads to 16 yards. Onte James goes in motion, and it'll be Roberson this way. Onte James is going to be flagged as he started to cut upfield prior to the snap. See if they. So I'm going to guess Woodland Hills is going to take the play for a loss of 1.
Flag on the play.
And that is what they do.
Illegal formation against Penn Hills.
Morford to throw. Jones passes high, but he hauls it in. Gets down to the 32-yard line, picks up 9.
Morford pass complete to number 9. Corey Jones.
Bring up a third down and about 18.
Right now, number 29, Julian Henderson.
Whitaker and Williams right. Joined also by Onte. And they will toss right to Roberson. Looks for somewhere to go. Cuts back. And the Wolverines are all right there. Jonathan Johnson breaks up the play. And Roberson will lose 4. And it brings up 4th down for the Indians. And I'm going to assume they'll bring on the punt team. And they do.
Number 23, Lafayette back to receive for Woodland Hills.
Pitts back in his own 10-yard line. Morford to kick. And boots it towards the corner of the end zone. And kicks back into the field of play for a touchback as it goes into the end zone. And the Woodland Hills Wolverines will take over with 4:34 to go at their own 20-yard line. 4:34 to go, first period. We are scoreless. Penn Hills, Woodland Hills. You are watching Indians football on Comcast. Oh, the monitor went out.
We'll be collecting donations for the Susan B. Komen Foundation throughout the first half.
Pitts. Gets by the first man, does not get by the second, and he will lose 1 or 2.
Lafayette Pitts on the carry, brought down on the backfield by Lamont Kaiser. And number 59, Terry.
So Lamont Kaiser playing with the big club on the right hand. Pitts will lose a yard. Woodland Hills will throw, has a man deep. And Blakeman on the coverage. Step for step. Shaquem Alonso.
For number 1, Shaquem Alonso.
And Menifee's first pass of the night falls incomplete. Clock will stop with 3:49 to go in the first period. 3rd and 11 for the Wolverines. Menifee will throw. Looks like he wants to set up the screen. There's nothing there. The Indians flush him out of the clock, and Menifee will have a first down and more. Menifee across the 40, breaks a tackle, and a lot of flags come in at the 49-yard line. Menifee will get out to the 47, pickup of 28 yards. Block in the back on a run will drop it back to the 35-yard line.
Illegal block in the back against Woodland Hills. First down.
Still a first down for the Wolverines. Pitts getting to the outside. Jones chasing. And Jones will bring him down after he picks up about 8 yards.
Brought down by number 9, Corey Jones.
And the Wolverines, just like that, they're back at their 19-yard line. Now they are up to their old 43. Pitts moved early.
Flag on the field.
I think he's been getting away with them here up to this point. Even ever so slightly. This time it was blatant. And he knew it. So it brings up a 2nd down and 7. Pitts to the outside, and it looks like somebody pulled a feet out from under him. That'd have been Corey Jones again as he gets to the 41-yard line for a pickup of 3. That was Hunter James who managed to bring him down. And it'll be a 3rd down and 4. Clock approaching 2 minutes. It's 2:11 at the moment. Stopped. Pitts looking for somewhere to go. The Indians stringing him out onto James. Sean Sharkey also finally bringing him up and wrapping him and bringing him to the ground is Tariq Hester for a loss back at the 37-yard line. Pitts will lose 4, and the Wolverines will have to punt. Pitts tried to get to the outside, and the Indians very nicely strung him out. Jones back for the Indians. Wolverines look like they're going to fake it as Pitts ran to the left. And the kick will go out of bounds at the 38-yard line. 1:15 to go, first quarter. Scoreless. Penn Hills, Woodland Hills. You're watching Indians football on Comcast. Formation behind Morford as the Indians come to the line. Corey Jones will go in motion, and it'll be Roberson looking for somewhere to go, and all he sees are Wolverines who lose a yard. Tough running tonight early on for both teams.
Play by number 50, Julian Turner.
For play action, flush to the right, gets the pass away, caught on the far side, nice gain. Terrell Roberson will give the Indians a 3rd and short.
Forward pass complete to number 5, Terrell Roberson.
Give the Indians a 3rd and 2, 9 yards on the reception for Terrell Roberson. Hills got into the backfield quickly. Morford flushed to his right. Managed to find Roberson on the right side. Morford 2 steps and the ball batted.
Forward pass knocked down at the line. 4th down.
They'll bring up a 4th down and 2. And the punt team comes on. And wisely so. Lafayette Pitts back at his 25. Lafitte. Morford just gets the kick away, and the ball will go out of bounds inside the 25 at the 23-yard line. So the Woodland Hills Wolverines will have it with 8 seconds to go. Here in quarter number 1, the ball at their own 20, mark 23. Rozier will get up to the 27-yard line for a pickup of 4 on what is the final play of quarter number 1. After 1 period of play, scoreless, Penn Hills, Woodland Hills. You're watching Indians football on Comcast. Talked about it being slow going for the runners in the first period. Terrell Roberson, 6 carries, 22 yards. Lafayette Pitts, 5 carries, 9 yards. Woodland Hills throws it right side. It looks like it was caught, and it was indeed. Blakeman on the tackle. Devon White on the reception.
Menabee's pass complete to number 6, Devon White. brought down by number 9, Corey.
Corey Jones on the coverage making the tackle, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and 6. Excuse me, no gain on the play.
Bill, you have to find a way to.
Midfield will throw, and he's going to be sacked. Back at the 15-yard line. Looked like Terry Wilson.
By number 27,
Sean Sharkey.
And number 58, Mike Airgood.
Mike Airgood. Lost back to the 16-yard line. And Woodland Hills will punt. Indians should get some good field position on the turnaround. Nice kick. Jones bobbles it at the 40 and still loses the football. Picked up by the Wolverines. Mike Caprera, the long snapper, has it at the 29-yard line.
First down for Woodland Hills.
Woodland Hills will have it at the Indian 28-yard line. Pitts looking for somewhere to go, has nowhere to go. Mike Airgood and Trayvon Hester drops him for a loss of 2. Back to the 30-yard line.
By number 55, Trayvon Hester.
Indian defense played some inspired football. Nice shot there of our Indian D. So big number 55, Trayvon Hester. 6'3", 275. He is a junior. And the Wolverines will call timeout. 9:33 to go. Second quarter. Scoreless. Penn Hills, Woodland Hills. Watching Indians football on Comcast. Following the timeout, Woodland Hills on a 2nd and 12. And it appears the Wolverines jumped. Nate Bullock. Make it a 2nd and 17.
Woodland Hills.
Pitts finds a little crevice. Hester and Kaiser with the tackle at the 30-yard line after a pickup of 5. And it brings up 3rd down and 13.
Pitts on the carry, brought down by Sariq and Trayvon Hester.
Close for 12. 3rd and 12. Ball at the 30-yard line. Clock rolling under 9 minutes to go in the scoreless first half. Woodland Hills will throw a launchy one towards the end zone. Caught, touchdown, Woodland Hills. Corey Jones slipped on the coverage and taking advantage with Shaquem Alonso. So Woodland Hills takes advantage of the Indians' turnover. Then he feeds, bobbled the snap, looking for somewhere to go, and he falls. Point after will be no good. 8:45 to go, second quarter. Woodland Hills 6, Penn Hills nothing. You're watching Indians football on Comcast. The Wolverines go 28 yards in 3 plays to take advantage of the Indians' turnover on the punt. Shaquem Alonso, a 30-yard pass from Menifee. Menifee bobbles the snap on the point after, unable to get a pass off. The point after, no good. And it's 6-0 Woodland Hills. Jones from the 16-yard line looks for somewhere to go, dives to the 30. We'll mark him at the 29.
Brought down by number 41, Jaron Bandy.
Indian offense, 1 first down so far. That was on Roberson's 37-yard run in the first quarter. Aaron Bailey coming in to join the huddle. Roberson dives across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Mike Cabrera with the tackle, pickup of 2.
Roberson brought down on the play by number 3, Ronald Tyler.
Morford's pass batted in the air. Juan Price got the hands up. Morford on a 3rd and 8. Rolls to his left. And into the arms of the Wolverines. Juwan Price. So he'll be sacked back at the 27-yard line for a loss of 4.
Morford brought down by number 72, James.
Here marking the 26, will be a loss of 5. And brings up 3rd down and long. Morford's kick is blocked. And the Wolverines will have it at the 15-yard line. I didn't see who the long snapper was on the play, but the ball was taking quite a long time to get back there, allowing the Woodland Hills Wolverines to rush Morford. And the Wolverines have it at the 15-yard line. 7:12 to go in the first half. Wolverines already up by 6. I think somebody needs to wake up the Indians and tell them the game is underway. Pitts gets to the outside, inside the 10, 5. Touchdown! Lafayette Pitts. Anticlimactic on that drive. One play, 15 yards. For those of you keeping stats at home, Woodland Hills gets a first down. Score now 12-0 with 7:06 to go. Took them all of 6 seconds to punch it in. And if you throw it to the back of the end zone, the pass out of bounds. 7:06 to go, first half. Woodland Hills 12, Penn Hills nothing. Watching Indians football on Comcast. .06 to go, second quarter. The Woodland Hills Wolverines now up 12-0. 2 touchdowns in a minute and 39 seconds. Wolverines squib picked up at the 30-yard line. Nice return by Aaron Bailey out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. So the Indians with nice field position, hopefully trying to get something going here. Julian Henderson on the tackle for the Wolverines. Four receiver set for Morford. Launches one up the sideline. Whitaker was held on to. See if it's going to be an interference or a holding call. I think the Indians are going to get a defensive holding call on it, unless it'll be a first down. It is going to be a pass interference.
Pass interference against Woodland Hills.
So the Indians get their second first down of the half. This one by penalty. 15-yard mark-off will put it in the Woodland Hills territory at the 43-yard line. Second largest gain of the night for the Indians. Same formation for the Indians. Trips left, Whitaker right. It'll be Roberson looking for somewhere to go. Sees a sea of white. The Wolverines just came straight through the Indian offensive line. Lost back to the 47-yard line. That's a loss of 10. Morford bobbles the snap. It looks like the Wolverines may have it. Nope, Indians do fall on it. I don't know how they managed that one.
Recovered by Penn Hills.
That'll be a 2-yard loss. Makes it 3rd and 22. Clock running under 5.5 to go. Second quarter. Woodland Hills 12, Penn Hills nothing. Woodland Hills taking advantage of, well, no offensive line at the moment. Morford goes down, taking advantage of 2 turnovers. A fumbled punt and a blocked punt. Lost back to the 35-yard line for a loss of 10. So it'll be 4th down and 32. Morford gets this one away, takes a roll. Pitts at the 30-yard line, looking for somewhere to go. And finally brought down at the 45-yard line. A penalty flag comes flying way back.
Picks up the return. Flag on the play.
This will be a block in the back. Penalty flag at the 32-yard line, so the Wolverines should march it back to the 22. They move it to 30.
Illegal block in the back by Woodland Hills.
So the Wolverines should start at their own 20-yard line, and that's where they set them up.
Woodland Hills will take over on the 20-yard line.
Pitts skids across the 20 out to the 24-yard line. Kirkland and Whitaker on the tackle.
Brought down by number 15, Anderson Perry.
And Kadir Perry. Kadir Anderson Perry. P-E-R-O-Y. Wolverines on the reverse, and it's a good one. Ante comes in, does not make the tackle, but Trayvon Hester, Tariq Hester will make the tackle at the 40-yard line. 35 yards.
Brought down by number 34, Tariq Hester. That play results in a Woodland Hills first down.
$35 yards on the carry. I didn't even see who carried it. Menifee looking up the sideline, a pass thrown out of bounds.
Menifee pass incomplete. Intended for number 1. Carried that. Shaquem Alonso.
Devon White on the reverse. And the clock stops with 3:18 to go here in half number 1. Wolverines up 12-0, looking for more. Wolverines do get the ball to start half number 2. Play action, straight drop, flag comes in. Menifee looking downfield, the pass is caught. Alonso will have it at the 20-yard line. Right now it's a 20-yard game. We're going to check the flag. I think it's going to be a holding call against the Wolverines. Hands to the face call. Be marked off from the 47-yard line. Wow, marking this one off from 7 yards deep. So in essence, a 17-yard penalty. He's 2nd and 27. Champagne right side. Into the arms of Roberson to the 49-yard line, a gain of 6. Kadir Anderson-Perry also on the tackle. And it's 3rd and about 22. 3rd and 23, we'll call it. Menifee, swing pass, near side, caught, Pitts up the sideline. Ante James will knock him out of bounds short of the first down at the 38-yard line. About 14 yards. And it'll be 4th down and 8. Wolverines showed fake, then dropped back to punt formation. Pitts will boot it high, short. Indians will let it hit. It'll take a Penn Hills bounce and go dead at the 24-yard line. 1:45 to go, first half. Woodland Hills 12, Penn Hills nothing. You're watching Indians football on Comcast. First down for the Indians, 1:45 to go in the half. Swing pass to Jones, right side, coming up to make a beautiful tackle, Ronald Tyler. Jones will lose 4. That'll be 2nd and 14. Clock under a minute and a half in running.
Brought down by number 3, Ronald Tyler.
And Roberson will be dropped for a loss. Back to the 16-yard line. Another loss of 4. And the Wolverines will use a timeout with 59 seconds to go. And why not? The Indians looking at a 3rd down and 18. Wolverines now with 1 timeout left. Stoppage with 59 seconds to go. And the score, Woodland Hills 12, Penn Hills nothing. You're watching Indians football on Comcast. Pass intended for Corey Jones, incomplete. Clock stops with 55 seconds to go. I really thought the Indians were going to run the ball and make Woodland Hills use their last timeout if they didn't get the first down. Morford close to his own goal line. Ball hits at the 44, takes an Indian bounce, goes out of bounds in Woodland Hills territory at the 46-yard line. The Wolverines one timeout, 54 yards from the end zone, and up by 12. Minifeud will throw, looking up the sideline. Alonzo, pass too far. Brings up second down. Menifee will throw, flushed out of the pocket, looking up the sideline, has a little room to run across the 50, the 45, and out of bounds at the Indian 45-yard line, making the tackle, Tariq Hester of the Indians. Clock will stop with 31 seconds to go, and a pickup of about 9 for the Wolverines. Menifee, deep drop, looking, flush. And Kirkland will drop him for a sack at the 47-yard line. They'll lose 2 to bring up a 4th down. And the Wolverines will use their final timeout. So we'll take a break. 21 seconds to go, first half. Woodland Hills 12, Penn Hills nothing. You're watching Indians football on Comcast. Woodland Hills to the line on 4th down. Menifee pass over the middle. Alonzo, nice catch, first down, Woodland Hills. Inside the 15, down at the 14-yard line. 33 yards on the reception. Woodland Hills to the line. The officials have to wait to start the clock until they get the sticks set. And Menifee will down it with 10 seconds to go. And it looks like the Woodland Hills Wolverines will bring on the field goal unit. Sam Sifo. Try about a 30-yard attempt. Set this from 31 yards. I would think Woodland Hills Wolverines may Maybe try one to the end zone, but if Menifee got sacked, it would be the half. 31-yard attempt for Sifo, and the kick is good. They're coming with 7 seconds to go. Sifo now to kick it off after giving the Wolverines a 15-point lead. Squibb taken up by Jones at the 17-yard line. Corey Jones looking for some blockers and some room. Cuts it across the 35, the 40. And Jones will go out of bounds at the 45-yard line after a nice return. But that'll do it for the first half. After one half of play, Penn Hills down to the Woodland Hills Wolverines 15-0. Second half action coming your way next. You're watching Indians football on Comcast. Caprera cuts to the near side. Onto James. And Onte with a nice tackle brings him down at the 31-yard line.
Number 30, Mike Caprera on the return for Woodland Hills. Offended by number 1, James.
Woodland Hills will start at their own 31-yard line.
Woodland Hills takes over on their 31-yard line.
Second of action is brought to you by Sembar Mixel. For all your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs, call Sembar Mixel 412-241-0195. By Mr. Water Heater. Keeping water hot for over 30 years. Call Mr. Water Heater at 1-866-MR-W or see them online at MrW.com. And by the Penn Hills Sports Shop in the Municipal Plaza, Frankstown Road, Penn Hills. Pitts out to the 34-yard line. We'll pick up 3. All scoring so far in quarter number 2, all 15 points. The Woodland Hills Wolverines with a couple of short fields. The Indians bobbled a punt. It was recovered at the 28-yard line. A 30-yard pass to Shaquem Alonzo from Menifee. Wolverines up 6-0. And then after a blocked punt, Lafayette Pitts a 15-yard run on the first play following the block. Put the Wolverines up 12-0. And then late in the half, Sam Shifo, a 31-yard field goal. The Wolverines up 15-0. That's where we stand thus far with 11:18 to go here in the third quarter. The Wolverines using their first time out of the half and coming awfully early.
The Penn Hills cheerleaders would like to thank Creative Silk Screens for their involvement in tonight's Susan B. Komen Foundation fundraiser, a huge success.
And a few will be sacked, loses the football, picked up by Pitts. The ball fumbled right to him, and Pitts has a sideline across the 40, out of bounds for a first down at the 47-yard line. 13 yards for Pitts.
Menifee sacked on the play by Kadir Anderson-Perry. Fumble recovered by Lafayette Pitts. That play results in a Woodland Hills first down.
First down for the Wolverines. at the 47. A break for the Wolverines. The ball was fumbled straight to Pitts, who has another hole. And we'll get about the 50-yard line before he's brought down by Kadir Perry. First man through, big hole, first down, Woodland Hills Wolverines. Champagne to the 33-yard line, 17 yards. And the Wolverines moving the ball here early in quarter number 3.
Up to James with the tackle. First down, Woodland Hills.
Champagne with the carry, Sharkey with the tackle, no gain. Woodland Hills will throw. Quick drop right over the middle. Pass complete. Looks like it'll be good enough for a first down. Joe Davis with the reception. Ante James with the tackle.
Pass complete to number 8, Joe Davis. Run down number 1, Ante James.
And we're giving him a pickup of 11 and a first down.
First down.
Pushed out of bounds at the 10-yard line after pickup of 12. Corey Jones with the tackle. It'll be first and goal, Wolverines at the 10-yard line. Clock stopping with 8:42 to go here in the offense yet to touch the football here in the second half.
Play results in the Woodland Hills first down.
Pitts inside the 5, barrels his way to the 3-yard line. Jaquan Williams with the tackle.
Pitts on the carry, brought down by number 3, Jaquan Williams.
Wolverines from the 3-yard line. Champagne in front of Pitts to the eye. It'll be Pitts. Touchdown.
Fraser on the return.
And the one-handed return out to the 34-yard line. And the Indian offense will take the field for the first time in 17 before we go to the third.
Penn Hills takes over on their own 35-yard line.
Roberson with a hole. Nice run. First down, Penn Hill.
Terrell Roberson on the carry. Run down by number 12.
Roberson, 12 yards.
That run results in a Penn Hill first down.
Monte Pitts with the tackle. Roberson this time trying to go right and doesn't get there. Justin Littlejohn with the tackle for a
Roberson
loss
brought
of
down
45.
number 52.
We'll lose two. Corey Jones looking for somewhere to go, and he'll be dropped at the 42-yard line for a loss of 3. It'll be 3rd and 15 for the Indians.
Play by number 5, Juan Price.
Clock rolling under 6 minutes to go in the third. Penalty flag flies, launching one downfield. Corey Jones has it for the reception. If the play stands, it'll be a first down at the 31-yard line. It'll be a 27-yard reception.
Leads to number 3, Juan Williams.
I think Brandon Ames is looking, standing way back at the 40-yard line. Looks like this one's coming back.
Illegal procedure against Penn Hill.
The Indians did not have enough men on the line of scrimmage. Instead of a first down, it'll be 3rd and 20. Roberson on a toss right, slips in the backfield. He'll lose another 3. This time he'll lose only 2. And the Indians are going to have to punt.
Fourth down.
Morford gets the kick away. Nice end-over-end kick. He'll go dead at the 36-yard line. 5:03 to go. Third quarter. Woodland Hills 22, Penn Hills nothing. You're watching Indians football on Comcast.
Go!
to go. Tries to get to the outside. And he'll be brought down in the backfield. Ante James at the 30-yard line.
Brought down by number 1, James.
More give him credit at give him progress at the 31. It'll be a loss of 5. And a little extracurricular activity, nothing called anywhere. Indians come on the blitz, go with the end around, a lot of room near side to the 40-yard line. Onto James with another tackle along with Jaquan Williams. It was Devon White on the end around. We'll pick up 9. Taking third down at 6. To throw, looks over, little pass, almost intercepted. And Menifee's pass falls incomplete. It'll bring up a 4th down. Clock will stop with 3:14 to go. Pitts gets the kick away, takes a Wolverine bounce inside the 25, and we'll go dead at the 23-yard line. 3:04 to go. Third quarter. Woodland Hills 22, Penn Hills nothing. You're watching Indians football on Comcast.
Penn Hills takes over on their 23-yard line.
Roberson spun down in the backfield by Justin Littlejohn. He'll lose 4 to the 19.
Roberson brought down on the play by number 52, Justin Littlejohn. Flag on the field.
Only flag on the far side. Against the Indians.
Illegal procedure against Penn Hills.
Making out 2nd and 19. Roberson from deep in the backfield looking for somewhere to go. Makes a nice move to cut off the sideline and get out to the 20-yard line. Picks up 6.
Roberson's the ball carrier.
And the Indians will have a third and about 13.
Knocked out of bounds by number 30, Mike Cabrera.
Mike Cabrera, the junior, 6'1", 205 pounds. pass at the 20-yard line. Another sack by the Wolverines. Loss of 2. And it'll bring up 4th down for the Indians. Clock at 1:40 and running. Horford's kick goes out of bounds on the far side of the field at the 35-yard line. Horford doing a nice job of getting the kick away. Again with another rush by the Wolverines. Been blitzing all night.
Winning ticket is a yellow ticket, number 490077. Yellow 490077. You may pick up your winnings at the Booster Booth, located down by the concession stand.
Pitts will get a yard. Whitaker and Tariq Hester.
Pitts, the ball carrier, brought down by Tariq Hester and Chaz
We'll bring the
Whitaker.
clock under 1 minute to go here in quarter number 3.
Winning number yellow 490077 at the Booster Booth across from the concession stand.
Pitts looks for somewhere to go. He's blown dead, runs into the arms of Kadir.
Mohamed Pitts, the ball carrier, stopped in the backfield by number 15, Kadir Anderson.
Perry will jump for a loss of 2. That'll bring up 3rd and 11. And the Wolverines will let the clock wind down and take it to quarter number 4. After 3 quarters of play, the score Woodland Hills 22, Penn Hills nothing. You are watching Indians football on Comcast.
3 quarters. Woodland Hills 22, Penn Hills 0.
Fourth quarter will get underway with the score Woodland Hills 22, Penn Hills nothing. The Wolverines will take 3rd and 11 at the Indian 36-yard line. Menifee will give it on the end around. Woodland Hills Wolverines will throw. Launch one downfield. Has Alonzo at the 5, and the passer should throw a flag. And it didn't. The Indians got away with one there. Devon White with a pass down to Shaquille Alonzo.
Intended for number 1, Shaquille
Ball's
Alonzo.
incomplete. Indians get a break. It's 4th down.
Pass
Clock will
broken
stop
up
at
by
11:53 to go.
Chaz Whitaker.
Wolverines on a 4th and 11. Menifee will drop. Slips in the backfield at the 45-yard line. Loses 8.
Menifee down in the backfield.
And the Wolverines will turn the ball over on downs with 11:50 to go.
Where will be in Penn Hills.
Indians with good field position at the 45-yard line. Empty set for Morford. Throwback. Ponte looking for somewhere to go. We'll get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain, 2nd down and 10. Roberson will be dropped for a loss of 6. Johnson with the tackle. Now they'll bring up 3rd and 16. Morford looking downfield for Whitaker. And a pass broken off by Javonte Pitts. Bring up a 4th down for the Indians. And the punt team will come on. 10-11 to go. Morford with a beautiful kick. Hits it to 24. Pitts picks it up at the 20-yard line. Looking for somewhere to go. Shake and bake. And we'll get out to the 35-yard line. 9:57 to go. 4th quarter. The Wolverines in control. 22-0. You're watching Penn Hills football.
Return at their 35-yard line.
The Wolverines will start at their own 25-yard line. A block in the back on the return. Cuts them back to the 25. And it'll be pitched to Workhorse, looking for somewhere to go. Slithers his way through the line, finally wrapped up and brought down by Trayvon Hester. That's a gain of 1.
Brought down by number 55, Trayvon Hester.
Set the girls up there.
2nd down and 9. Hits again, not much of anything.
Pitch ball carrier run down by number 58, Mike Airgood.
Maybe another yard. Lon Kaiser with the tackle. So Mike Airgood. Now we'll call 3rd down and 8. Clock at 8:45 and running here in quarter number 4. Wolverines come on the end around, and Sean Sharkey not fooled this time. Javon Kirkland helps finish him off. Loss back at the 22-yard line, a loss of 6 for Devon White. And it'll bring up a 4th down and about 13 for the 4th and 14 for the Wolverines.
And number 27, John Sharkey.
Pitts gets the kick away, takes a Wolverine bounce, and a good bounce at that. And we'll go dead at 27 yards. 7:39 to go, 4th quarter. The Wolverines 22, the Indians nothing. You are watching Indians football on Comcast. 1st and 10, Indians at their own 27-yard line. As he went down, but they're rolling down on the field. Moving on at the 24-yard line to Javonte Pitts.
Woodland Hills takes over on the Penn Hills 24-yard line.
The pass was tipped, and Javonte Pitts was there. The Wolverines, great field position at the Indian 24. About 19 for Pitts. Pitts left side, looks for somewhere to go. Sharkey pushes him back into the middle, and he'll slip and go down.
Pitts brought down.
Lamont Kaiser with credit with the tackle to 25, a loss of 1.
Lamont Kaiser.
Bring up 2nd down 11. More importantly for the Woodland Hills Wolverines, they keep the clock running. We'll go under 7 minutes to go here in quarter number 4. Barring a major turn of events, the Woodland Hills Wolverines will be the runners-up in the conference. And should be playing next week at the Wolverina. Indians will be on the road. Alonzo comes in motion near side. It'll be Pitts. Going left side off. Tackle into the secondary inside the 10. 5. Touchdown. Lafayette Pitts. 25 yards. And that should seal it for the Wolverines. Try the point after. The kick is up and through. 6:34 to go. 4th quarter. Woodland Hills 29. Penn Hills nothing. You're watching Indians football on Comcast. Woodland Hills touchdown drive, 2 plays, 24 yards. Lafayette Pitts, 25-yard run. And the Wolverines up 29-0. Anything, it should make traffic a bit easier after the game. From the 10-yard line. is shellacked at the 25. So I'd like to say who give credit to the tackler, but there's no 48 on the roster for Woodland Hills. Morford gets the pass away, and it's too high for Ante James. Clock will stop at 6:25 to go. Wolverines come on a blitz, and Roberson will be dropped for a loss of 5.
Roberson brought down by number 50, Julian Turner.
The Indians have like 0 yards rushing in the game. Perhaps a yard. Yard on 21 attempts. Tariq Hester in the backfield for the Indians. Jones will go in motion. Morford bobbles the snap, does get it off to Jones, who has some room to run, cuts near side, looks to make it to the far side of the field, gets some blocks across the 40-yard line. Goes down on his own, picks up 20 yards. And the Indians as a team now have 21 yards rushing. The Indians with a first down, a rare commodity in this game for Penn Hills. Morford straight drop, hit as he tries to throw, does a nice job to hold on to the football. Justin Littlejohn, who's had a big night for the Woodland Hills defense tonight. That'll bring up a 2nd and 15, clock under 4.5 to go. Here in quarter number 4. Roberson for about 3. I'd be remiss not to wish everybody a happy Halloween this weekend. As we get into the month of November. Cold weather coming upon us. Cold weather coming upon us. So this is the first time this year. This is the first time this year we've been shivering in the press box. We've actually had nice weather all year. 3rd and 12 for the Indians. They go with an empty set. Trips to the near side, single receiver far side. That'll be Ante, and Ante on the reverse. Will be stacked up after a pickup of about 9.
Down by number 24, Dave Pierce.
Finally coming up in the press box to see Dad. His daughter Samantha. Say hi, Sam.
Please report to any.
So now where do you go to school?
Penn Elementary.
And you're in grade.
4th.
Who's your teacher? Uh-oh, who's that on TV?
Me.
Yeah?
My teacher is Miss Clemens.
Miss Clemens, you're at Penn Hebron in 4th grade?
Yep.
Okay, Corey Jones is... So the Indians will turn it over on downs.
Corey Jones, the ball carrier, brought down.
Come on back over here. Come on over here. Dad needs something to talk to here. This has been a long game. So what are you doing tomorrow? Who do you cheer for?
The Bantams.
The Penn Hills Bantams. And what are they doing tomorrow?
They're playing the championships.
Playing in the championship game against who?
Penn Trafford.
And where's it going to be?
Fox Trafford.
Good.
I don't know why.
Okay, Sam, so the Bantams playing Penn Trafford at Fox Chapel tomorrow. Go Bantams.
Go Bantams.
Who plays for the Bantams?
Me and my brother Will.
You don't play for the Bantams. What do you do?
Not cheer for them.
Cheer for them. Okay, go Bantams tomorrow. Bye. Gotta get back to work. Wolverines keep it on the ground.
Number 41, Tyron Bandy, the ball carrier.
Tyron Bandy, the ball carrier. Wolverines' new quarterback, Tom Green, number 14. Loses the football. The Indians fall on it. Or so it appears. Yes, they do. Kadir Anderson-Perry with the recovery.
Penn takes over on their 44-yard line.
The Indians take over with 1:38 to go at the 44-yard line. .130, 90 seconds remaining in this contest. Anybody left here?
Barely.
Big run for the Indians, Tariq Hester.
Tariq Hester, the ball carrier.
Tariq Hester down to the 42-yard line.
That play results in Penn Hill first down.
14 yards for number 34. Did Woodland Hills band come tonight?
No, they didn't.
Did they not come tonight? And neither did the cheerleaders. They must have gotten lost. Five-yard penalty against the Indians. Clock under a minute and running. Wolverines scoring 15 points in the second. 7 in the third, 7 in the fourth. 29-0.
Tariq Hester, the ball carrier.
4 yards for Hester. And I'll bring up a 3rd and 11. Give me 2nd and 11.
Okay, Bill, what's happening?
And I don't think the Indians will run another play. They're going to let it wind down, and this one is in the books. Final score, Woodland Hills 29, Penn Hills nothing. Scoreless after one. The Wolverines with a couple of breaks in the second quarter. Indians botch a punt return, and Woodland Hills recovers at the 28-yard line. 30-yard pass puts the Wolverines up 6-0. Next possession, the Indians have their punt blocked. Woodland Hills Wolverines have it at 15. Takes them one play to go into the end zone. They're up 12-0, and before the half, a 31-yard field goal makes it 15-0. Woodland Hills Wolverines got the ball to start half number 2. They go 9 plays, 69 yards, go up 22-0. 4-minute drive for the Wolverines. And then in quarter number 4, after an interception, Woodland Hills Wolverines take it over at the 24-yard line after a loss of 1. Lafayette Pitts punches it in from 25 yards out. That's your scoring. That's your game. Woodland Hills 29, Penn Hills nothing. Woodland Hills Wolverines runners up in the Big East Conference this season. The Indians will finish 3rd. Woodland Hills most likely will have a home game next week at the Wolverine, and the Indians will be on the road. Tonight's game brought to you by Sapphire Mixel for your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs. Call for Richard Sapphire Mixel 241-4195. Time to get those furnaces and air conditioners checked for winter. Sapphire Mixel 241-4195. By the Penn Hills Sports Shop, Municipal Plaza, Frankstown Road in Penn Hills. See Larry for all your custom Penn Hills and Woodland Hills attire. The Penn Hills Sports Shop, across from Penn Hills Police Station on Frankstown Road. And by Mr. Water Heater, keeping water hot for over 30 years. See them online at MrWaterHeater.com or call them at 1-866-MR-W. I'm Bill Navari. Once again, the final score, Woodland Hills 29, Penn Hills nothing. Playoffs start next week, and we'll see you there. Thank you for watching Penn Hills Indians football on Comcast.